QB has liked our shots at him so far.
Good.
But of course, I'm going to tell him it's you, who he's known all of your adult life. I'm going to say, Hubie, Tony keeps going to the well here.
Let me tell you something else. It's also the end of our Middle Ages, okay? We're into old age now, you and I. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, should Kyrie pick the Lakers over the Nets? Does Steph Curry need a Finals MVP? And should the NBA add in-season tournaments? But we begin today with a report by Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN that Rockets GM Daryl Morey has made it known that everyone on his roster, including James Harden and Chris Paul, are available. Now, admittedly, it's a long shot to get Harden, but it's out there. Wilbon, would Morey be smart to engage in such a volcanic act?
Wow, Tony, this is a bombshell to me. I love this story. Look, Daryl does things all the time. He's not interested in sort of building. I mean, he wants to put together the best team every year he can get. I mean, he's so far away from tanking, it's not even funny. And so it's smart if it works. I mean, I think that's what Daryl, knowing him a little bit, would tell you. And Tony, he's traded away people and gotten people. You look at that Houston roster. How did he get the guys we're talking about? James Harden was gotten through a trade. It's like almost everybody, Capella not so, drafted in the first round by the Rockets. Trade, acquisition, free agent, however you can get them.
Right.
I love this.
You do.
And I think this is Daryl Morey's MO. This is what the Rockets do.
You love this, okay? Because personally, I would not do this. Me personally, I would stand pat with James Harden and Chris Paul for one more year, even though they've been chokers in the playoffs. And I would do this because I would wait to see if Golden State fell apart. I would wait to see if Kevin Durant left. I would wait to see if Klay Thompson left, because I'd want to be sitting there with a 53-win team if indeed that happened. I mean, look, if you trade Clint Capella, it doesn't even make page 9. If you trade Chris Paul, it is possible you are trading an overrated, almost over-the-hill player who will be next year's Dwayne Wade. But if you trade James Harden, that is boom. That is gigantic. I don't know what you get back for James Harden. I don't.
Probably a team that could lose in the second round of the playoffs. Look, there are two guys, Tony, that gamble big and have won their gambles to a great degree.
Well, a Toronto guy has.
Daryl Morey and Masai Ujiri. And they say, you know what? We want to do something because we can see that this isn't going to get us to a championship.
Right.
It's not going to get us a championship. So they're not going to do it willy-nilly. They're going to accept the best deals out there. Masai did that. And so is Daryl Morey in getting James Harden. People thought that was overreactionary when he got James Harden several years ago.
So you would give up now on what they've got. You would give up.
If I think, and I'm sure Daryl would think this if he makes the deal, if I get something that can threaten to win a championship, why not?
I think it's Masai Ujiri envy. That's what I think.
Because
he made the big move and he got Kawhi Leonard.
For two guys.
Envy.
And it ain't going to give him anything.
Envy.
It's not.
Envy.
Let's try and sate your Lakers obsession.
I don't care about the Lakers.
Fascinating story. That's all you care about.
I don't care about the Lakers.
Colin Cowherd's show. Rick Bucher reports that Kyrie Irving is down to two teams in his free agent consideration, the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. Bucher said he's been told in the last 24 hours that Kobe Bryant has been recruiting Kyrie. Irving is from metropolitan New York, and we're told owns a new place about 19 miles from Barclays Center. Tone, the Knicks must be, as usual, crushed. But more importantly, what would you advise Kyrie to do if you were his counsel?
Wait a second. What happened to the Knicks? I thought the Knicks were getting Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I thought that all your friends were reporting that for the last 5 months.
Don't put it on my friends. Okay. Because I sat on this show.
That's what everybody's reporting.
I don't believe a word of that.
So this Brooklyn thing is interesting in this regard. Because South Orange, if that's the focal point here, buying a house in South Orange, it's actually closer to Manhattan than it is to Brooklyn. Here's what.
By what, 3/4 of a mile?
I don't care. You got to go through Manhattan. You go through Manhattan. Yeah. I would ask this. Sure. I think this is the critical question. Does anybody really want to play with Kyrie Irving? Does any of his teammates really want to play with Kyrie Irving?
LeBron could play with him again.
So if it's LeBron, now don't talk to me about Brooklyn. Talk to me about the Lakers.
Look, Tony, one, I ain't making Kyrie my number one player. We just saw that doesn't work. Talk about things that don't work. Kyrie is the best player on a team. Doesn't work.
Right.
And we don't think, there's no evidence to the positive that he can lead anybody.
That's right.
So I'm not paying Kyrie some 150, 60, 70 million dollars. I'm not doing that.
Right.
Unless I know I've got a guy he can play Robin to. That guy would be LeBron James. Now, I also think LeBron's got to be looking out there. He's got some options. Because if Daryl Morey's saying everybody's available, it means his dear, dear, dear friend, Chris Paul.
That's right.
Which one would be the best option for LeBron to get back into big action next spring?
The Brooklyn Nets have a point guard. They got D'Angelo Russell at the moment. Well, he can play. Kyrie can go play with LeBron because LeBron accepts the fact that Kyrie Irving is miserably unhappy all the time because they won a championship together. So that's why when you say you want to sate my Lakers obsession, you're the one who's understanding here that the Lakers is the better place. The NBA Finals begin finally tomorrow night. Kawhi Leonard comes in under the most celebration. On the other side is Steph Curry, who in the last 5 playoff games has been absolutely sensational, scoring even more than Kawhi. Steph has 3 NBA titles, 2 MVPs already, but not a Finals MVP. Kawhi does, by the way. Curry said, quote, "It's a special award that everybody wants to get, including myself. But at the end of the day, the first thing I do is look up and see, did you win or lose," unquote. Wilman, does Curry need this particular award to validate his great career?
No. And the fact that I never even thought about this today as much as I think about and cover the NBA illustrates why. I mean, I've never thought about this. Now, it's an interesting historical thing, Tony, particularly for older people like us who know the history of the league. And I think back on it. And of the people who've won, of those who've won, top 25 players, top 15, 18, 20 players, Julius Erving, to me, seems to be the most famous, most accomplished, most iconic player who has not won. Because the other iconic players, they didn't win, or they were the number 2 guy, like Kevin McHale or someone like that. Scottie Pippen, great
I would not call those iconic players. I'm not going to.
They certainly are where they are, and I think that Julius Erving is the guy.
He is.
He's the only one, right?
Oh, I guess. I mean,
it's Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Well, they didn't win,
but they didn't
win. They didn't win a championship.
Charles, Patrick,
like you,
Reggie.
Yeah, those are not iconic players.
They are iconic.
Like you, Steph Curry has a chance to be an iconic player. He's got a chance to win 4 championships in 5 years. He's the greatest shooter of all time, all right? I think of this as a small, it just doesn't even register on me, but Magic's got it, and Bird's got it, and Jordan's got it, and in his contemporaries, Durant and LeBron have this. So if you want to use this as a disqualifier because you don't like Curry, I guess you can. I would not.
I would not either.
He's an all-time player, whether he ever wins this because of everything he's won. Yeah. I think, Mike, this is too small. You got to get to the finals. They don't get there against Portland if he doesn't play.
Winning is the thing. But again, Tony, I just call it a great historical note. But does it devalue Steph Curry?
Not to me. Not to me.
Not to us.
No.
Tony, this next story is going to make your head explode because it involves 2 things that annoy you: Adam Silver and soccer. The NBA Commission is proposing 2 competitions. One of them, a play-in for bottom feeders to make the playoffs. And the second, a separate in-season deal that mimics the Premier League, or the Premier League, as I'm supposed to say. Silver has said, quote, "I'm looking at things from a fan standpoint, especially in a rapidly changing media market where fans are in essence voting every day whether they want to watch your product," close quote.
Yeah.
Tone, how much do you hate both these ideas?
Yeah, and I know you know this. I really like both of these ideas. And I'm really coming around on Adam Silver since he understood that I-95 is the place to plant your flag, which he did last week. This is an important thing. Let's take the soccer one first, because this is to acknowledge and combat sagging ratings for the NBA in the regular season. If you have an average Thursday night game with crummy teams, let's just say Washington and Sacramento, that is a ratings killer. But if you attach to that game, if you take that out of the regular season and you attach it to standings that result in sort of an in-season tournament, maybe culminating at the All-Star game, and you televise that on NBA TV, that changes things. That gives skin in the game to every team in the league. I don't like soccer. You're right about that, but I really like this idea. The other one is a fabulous idea because it takes the best of baseball's wild card. It says 10 will play 7 and 9 will play 8 in a one-game playoff, presumably, and they'll get into the playoffs. I like both ideas a lot, and I suspect you do too.
Yeah, I like particularly the play-in one, Tony, because it incentivizes something for bottom feeders at the end. Maybe those teams are getting better. And instead of just tanking for a pick, they can actually continue trying to get better.
You're in the playoffs.
And those games are much more attractive. Yeah. And I'll just clean this up for you. If you think our bosses are just going to let NBA TV have this, I think you might want to reconsider that. That won't happen.
Well, I mean, if I was the NBA, Mike, I would hold it for NBA TV as an experimental thing with the separate standings towards this particular event.
Tony, the one thing I think, something else, a byproduct you and I both would like, this has to reduce the regular season to 72, 75 games.
Sure.
And there is consideration of that real now.
Get it to 60.
And so I think all of those things, you got to shake things up. By the way, adopt my all-star idea for years, which is U.S. stars against world stars, and juice that thing up and stop this stupid shirt and skins.
Yeah.
You know, with 2 stars. Come on, U.S. against the
world.
I mean,
Adam Silver. Adam Silver. Let's take a break. You're living and breathing. Coming up, Tiger has won the Memorial 5 times, but is he more likely to miss the cut than win it this week?
And can we be looking at another sweep by the Bruins? Toss-ups next.
I guess they teach you something at Duke. I guess they must.
You turned around on Adam Silver.
I have.
Hi, I'm Kevin Nagani. Tonight on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern. Woj is standing by with the very late
error or bad play or penalties, any kind of mistakes. As they say now in every sport, they got to clean that up.
Yeah.
And I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt and say they'll do it this time.
Next.
Toss up. Who do you blame for this inside the park home run? Randall Grichuk or the Trop?
Okay, this is a routine fly ball, and it is misjudged very badly. Now, let me say this about the home park of the Tampa team. It's a dump.
The worst.
The Tampa Bay Rays should not be allowed to play there. This is not a major league ballpark. But people have been playing there for 20 years. And if it was so terrible, this would happen every single game, and it doesn't. It's bad on the outfielder, and then he lollygagged it and didn't really go after it. So I don't blame the Trop, I blame the outfielder.
No, I blame the Trop. I mean, Randall Grichuk has been a serviceable outfielder and had a timely bat for a team we like to call the St. Louis Cardinals in his life. So, I mean, come on, he's not some stumble bum. And that place is a dump. It's the worst. Major League Baseball should be embarrassed. They should be there.
They should.
They should relegate the Tampa Bay team.
Get rid of it.
And promote somebody else until they can get a new ballpark.
But he misjudged that badly. He did. He misjudged it badly.
Ballpark is a dump.
Next.
Last one. Toss up. Worst pitch. Trevor Richards or the White Sox Employee of the Month?
Trevor Richards is an actual starting pitcher for the Marlins. Watch this. It's unbelievable. It's 10 feet over the batter's head. It's an absolutely terrible pitch. On the other hand, as his teammates laugh, it did not hit anyone. This hits this guy. This pitch is so terrible. It's the mayor of Cincinnati and Carl Lewis and Roseanne Barr, they're laughing at that pitch. It hits the camera. It bangs into the guy's head. The first pitch is a nuke-la-loosh fastball, but it's not as bad as the employee of the White Sox.
It's worse. We don't know if the White Sox employee, we don't know if that young lady's ever thrown a baseball.
We don't
know.
Didn't look like it.
I mean, she could be an All-American in some sport where you don't. Track and field.
Lacrosse.
I mean, well, you're still sort of throwing something in lacrosse occasionally. But come on, you're a major league pitcher and you go 40 feet above the catcher's head.
Bad.
And I know it was a slip. You saw his teammates laughing in the dugout. No, Tony, it's a major league pitcher putting one. You're not looking for launch angle into the plate. You're looking for launch angle going the other way.
People are lucky in the 12th row that there's netting there on that one. That's it. Of course, I win. Let's take one last break, but still to come is Jay Gruden posing his brother John by hyping him for Hard Knocks.
And is today's meeting between the Pelicans and Anthony Davis a good sign.
Tell you what's a good sign. He's not wearing a shirt that says last game or that's all, folks.
Well,
He's wearing
certain people
something
like
else.
you thought that meant he was never going to play there again. Maybe that was the wrong analysis.
Yeah, but I'm going to stick with it for a while. Not never again because he's under contract for this year. But I think he wants out.